Hey there, I'm back with another video. It's 5:09 p.m. And I have to say, I just really kind of let this day go. I didn't really do the things I was supposed to do, like meaning looking for work. I didn't want to mess with it. And having to deal with things that I look at as trauma-inducing, it takes a while for me to slowly move myself into that transition. So tomorrow is another day, and I will do my best to do what I need to do. But anyway, I got distracted. You have to understand, I don't like dealing with the confrontation of looking for work. Okay, it sends off a lot of triggers. I think a lot of people knew or know what happened to me in my job searches. So it's like, I'm not really comfortable having to do that. But I do understand it's necessary. So hopefully tomorrow I'll feel better. I stumbled upon this video. The name of the video, let me see here. Looks like it was just made today, too. It is called "He Left Jehovah's Witnesses and Lost His Family," and the name of the content creator, the title is "Deconstructing Christianity." Now, I stumbled upon this particular video because I know I mentioned something about Jehovah's Witnesses. I think it was last week. I was talking about the cloning process and how Jehovah's Witnesses believe in a new heaven, new earth type thing, or they call it the new system. The new system. The new system is basically, now I understand, they never say the word clones or anything, but if you think about, and this is not me bashing Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't want people looking at this or my feeling or expressing my feeling like I'm bashing them, but, I'm looking at the situation and I'm thinking, okay, when I was growing up, I know my dad studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. I studied many years with Jehovah's Witnesses. And, the whole thing was about building your life for the new system. And, it was looked down upon to have any other kind of plans other than to basically be a part of, the kingdom work. They encouraged things like field service, going door to door, throwing yourself into that lifestyle. And that was a big part of their responsibilities as a Jehovah's Witness. Now, I never formally became a Jehovah's Witness, but I do believe that at the time, because I was sitting with Jehovah's Witnesses, it did kind of, in my early years as a young teenager, okay, it did create problems that kind of geared or put me in a direction of stagnating things in my life, okay? The reason why I say this is because, like, Jehovah's Witnesses look down on preparing yourself for a career, for example, okay? That was something that they did, and the reason why they didn't like the idea of that is because they believed that Armageddon was coming, and there was no need to do that. And by sitting here putting all of your focus on things like, even getting married and having a family, they would prefer you focus more on what they call the kingdom work or that kind of stuff, and anything else you need to take a back seat. Now, I know Jehovah's Witnesses have talked about the end times for years, okay, and I remember back in 1975, this is one of the year where they had predicted. Now, the Watchtower Tract Society said that they did not actually say this, but a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses were talking about, they believed, based on some statements that were made by the Watchtower and Tract Society, that they concluded that the end of the world was going to be in 1975, okay? Now, this was a year where I was really little, but I don't remember the entire thing, but I do remember my parents arguing a lot. I remember bickering, and I do remember my parents arguing about celebrating, whether they were going to celebrate Christmas or not. Okay, because my mom was a Christmas person. My dad was considering becoming a Jehovah's Witness because his mom was a part of the Jehovah's Witness, right? Okay, well, a lot of people talked about the whole 1975 fiasco, okay, because obviously 1975 came and went, right? And when the world didn't end, it kind of left an egg on some of the witnesses' faces. Now, I kind of overlooked that, even when I understood that that was something that actually occurred, because I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses independently when I was a teenager. That was in the 80s, okay? And when I was studying in 1975 with my parents, okay, because I was really young, and I think we studied with Jehovah's Witnesses for maybe about 2 years. So we moved in the house in 74. 75 was a prediction of the end of the year. I think we stopped studying with Jehovah's Witnesses sometime around 76 or 77. So remember, I was very young, okay? But I do know that that caused a lot of friction in my family. And because they gave up on the Jehovah's Witness thing, a few years later, they started sending us to a Baptist church, right? Well, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, this guy lost his family. When it comes to the religion, I will say, I was summarizing certain things about the religion myself. I know there was a lot of people who would get like this, we would call it disassociated, or what do they call it? Just, oh gosh, discommunicated, or they would look at certain people as like apostates or something if they decided to leave the organization. You know, I understand that there's a lot of mind control that goes on in religion, okay? And I will say though, like for example, when I met Amanda, I do believe that she was probably a perp, okay? But I at least thought that I kind of respected the fact that she cared about her spiritual life, but at the same time, I do see that it kind of created a little bit of an arrogance when it came to how she viewed her religion and how she kind of looked down at other people. Also, when I think about, you know, the idea of, now, when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses, they believe in a new paradise on earth, okay? Now, I talked about the cloning process, right? About how, like, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that, you know, or that the new earth is going to be like where, you know, you get to like maybe the youthful age all the way up here to like the youthful age of like 30, possibly maybe 35 or 40, okay? And that's it. You don't get any older. And I kept thinking, okay, well, you know, I know that Jehovah's Witnesses have something to do with the cloning program because, you know, if you become baptized, then you get on this list to be cloned again, right? Or something like that, right? What bothered me so much about Jehovah's Witnesses is that, you know, they always said that they were, you know, distinct. They were different than what they used to call Babylon the Great, mainstream Christianity. But when I look at Jehovah's Witnesses and I see that they're in the same league as the same people, you know what I mean, like the same people like the Mormons and stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, wait a second. You know, you guys you say one thing, but you mean another. You know, I'm not comfortable with that. So, I mean, you know, religion, people are going to abuse their power. They're going to do a lot of things that make you question. I think, I didn't watch the entire video, but I understand a lot of people get outs by their family. They get ignored by their family. And you got to understand what goes on in a lot of those congregations is pretty much kind of like a low-key gang stalking type thing because, you know, they're taking sides within the Kingdom Hall matters, you know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, in certain religious organizations, everything is tied into, like, for example, their finances. So they might feel, you know, like intense pressure to ignore that family member even more, seeing as how an elder might have influence over here, in another place where maybe this person works or whatever. I hate to say it, but, you know, it's unfair and it's not right, but, you know, the Christian organizations like to do a lot of things behind the scenes, and it creates a lot of pressure on the family. Okay, and yes, these things are illegal, but this is what a lot of people do. Okay, and so, yeah, they're going to scapegoat, they're going to ignore you, they're going to throw you under the bus, especially if possibly, and there's a good chance that there is, that there are things like their finances are associated with everything. That's even more incentive for them to ignore you. Okay, I mean, that's how they are. Okay, but you at this point, if you're like this, what is that? Is that called disfellowship? I think that's the right word to use, disfellowship. If you're disfellowship, you know, they will write you off. You know what I mean? They're not allowed to talk to you. You're unclean at that point, okay? And so, you know, I never was considered disfellowship. I'm just somebody who never became a Jehovah's Witness. I never formally got baptized, okay? So I don't know if this person that was on this video was formally baptized or not. You know, I'm going to go back and watch a little bit more of the video. I'm almost done. I just don't really recall him saying that he was baptized, okay? But if he was baptized, then that's where it really applies. Now, if he was somebody who never formally became a Jehovah's Witness, according to what I understand, their relationship can still go on. But if he was somebody who, was a baptized Jehovah's Witnesses, it's a completely different thing. It's like they feel as though he's supposed to reach spiritual maturity to where he's not supposed to ever, back out of the religion. It's supposed to be like, they don't really encourage free thinking in Jehovah's Witness faith. They, everything is communicated by, the Watchtower and Tract Society publications. So you can't it's not really encouraged to just pick up your Bible and read it by itself. They want you to use a Watchtower and Tract Society publication because they want you to understand the Bible from their perspective. And of course, the Bible is a different translation. They have the New World Translation, things like the King James Version or like the New World. What's the other? There's a bunch of different versions of the Bible. King James, Jerusalem Bible, all of these different names. They would prefer you don't bring that to the Kingdom Hall. You bring their version of the Bible. Okay, so it's different. You know what I mean? But I do understand that it causes a lot of confusion. It causes a lot of confusion when you got family members who are willing to turn on you, but you have to understand what's at stake, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, even though religion's not supposed to play any sort of role in your employment, sadly it does. It does, okay? And it's underground, it's wrong, it's underhanded, whatever, but they do this sort of stuff, okay? It's really sad. What else do I want to say about this in this video? I think that's really it. It just got me thinking about, seeing people and how people seem almost willing and eager to throw people under the bus. It almost becomes macabre. I get that macabre feeling when I think about, like, my mom knowing the kind of stress that I was going through and thinking that it was okay. Think it was okay, or it was an all right thing to even have anything to do with this sort of experiment. Thinking that you can put a pressure on on a person and think it's okay, it's not okay. And I will never excuse that from anybody. Anybody. Okay? It was dark. It's disgusting. It's like, and I certainly would not expect that from anybody. But, when it comes to religion, people can get absolutely brainwashed to the point of where they'll do all kinds of morbid things. All kinds of morbid things. So anyway, I just wanted to say that really quick. I'm going to go ahead and finish watching that video. It's just some food for thought. Unfortunately, I didn't feel like really throwing myself into a job search today. And I'm not going to sit here and let people make me feel bad for not doing it. Okay? Especially when I've dealt with ridiculous abuse. And, I do not forgive the people who initiated the experiment on me. I do not forgive the people who thought it was okay. I am never going to condone it. I'm never going to let anybody ever think that they can say something or do something to me and think it's okay. It's not okay. And I'm going to put everybody in check, whoever tries it. Okay, I don't expect people, and I don't appreciate people bringing my family members trying to infiltrate my home into this sort of stuff. It's dark, it's sick, it's downright Nazism, and I will never respect you. Ever. Okay? So let's just do what we need to do, clear your stuff up, and just drop out of my life. I will never think highly of you. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'll do another video at some other time. But I need to get going. And I'm not looking for work today.